Bad news for South African theatre moviegoers as ticket prices soars to over 200% compared to ticket prices a decade ago. This is an article that was published on the My Broadband website and will be delving into why that is the case. And also, legendary filmmaker and iconic stuntman Jackie Chan is going to be honored at the Locarno Film Festival organized in Switzerland. We'll be delving a little bit into his life and filmography and why perhaps this award is really deserving of him to receive such an accolade. This and more is what I'll be bringing you in today's episode of the Film Mandate. I am Papa Otu. Stay tuned. Welcome back once again to another exciting episode of the Film Mandate, episode 28. We are really going far in this very journey, and I'm thankful to all of you for being my audience, for always coming back to enjoy these very discussions that I keep having with you. I would like to really apologize that yesterday I was not able to bring you an episode of the Film Mandate due to some technical issues beyond my control. However, for this reason, I'm going to drop an episode on Saturday, which I usually don't do, but just to compensate for me not being able to bring you an episode yesterday. So yeah, thank you so much for being patient with me and helping me on this very journey of the film mandate. In today's episode, just as we have highlighted in the you know in the prelude to this very episode, there's bad news on the horizon, particularly for South African, movie goers, those who go to the theater to watch films. And this is as a result of high rise in ticket prices, which is not necessarily the fault of the theater or chains of cinemas in South Africa. In an article published on My Broadband, as you can see on your screen, it explains why that is the case, and I'd like to read it, and then we can delve into the issues that is springing up in this very article. So let's go on this journey with me. And in my broadband article, it says that bad news for people who go to the movies in South Africa. And this is an article published by Hanno Labuskanye. I hope I pronounced it right. Pardon me if I didn't. And yeah, so movie ticket prices in South Africa are between 92% and 275% more expensive than they were a decade ago. An analysis by my broadband shows. South Africa's two big cinema chains, Ster Kinekor and New Metro, have struggled to remain relevant while video streaming services have seen explosive growth. The growing libraries of excellent movies and series on these services are believed to have drawn demand for larger screen TVs at home, which has further blunted the appeal of the big screen experience. The COVID 19 pandemic further accelerated streaming adoption as people were forced to spend more time at home during lockdown periods, worsening the migration from theater seats to TV room couches is the impact of the rand's significant weakening against the dollar in the past decade. South African movie distributors must often pay for titles in US dollars, as many of the most popular titles are produced through Hollywood. The US film industry accounts for about 40% to 45% of the global box office market share, and its movies generally appeal more to South African audiences than those from Bollywood, India, Nollywood, Nigeria, and Asian production companies. Between March 2015 and March 2025, the average price of a US dollar increased from 12.07 Rand to 18.24 Rand. Despite cramming screenings with more advertisements as an additional source of revenue, South African cinemas have needed to push up ticket prices substantially to remain solvent. There have been a few bright spots of hope for the industry with a handful of high grossing blockbusters like Barbie, Dune 2, and Oppenheimer drawing people back to the big screen. Cinemas have also tried to pivot to adapt to the times with screenings of major music and sports events and classic movies. The change in strategy has helped Stekinoco Kinecor avoid a large-scale theater shutdown and retrenching 236 workers, a third of its workforce. However, it nonetheless shuttered two theaters and cut close to 60 jobs. That comes less than 3 years after the firm escaped liquidation thanks to 250 million rand investments. My broadband compared compared the latest ticket prices of Ster-Kinekor and its primary competition, New Metro, to better understand just how much more expensive a night at the movies has become. Ster-Kinekor, the pricing on all Stair Kinecor tickets have increased by far more than inflation, which increased by roughly 63% between April 2015 and April 2025. 10 years ago, the most affordable ticket at Star Kinecor cinema was 24 Rand, which was exclusive to its Sterland Theatre. Maponya Hall Mall was the next and most affordable at 38 Rand, followed by N1 City's tickets at 45 Rand. In 2025, these in 2025, these cinemas all charge 89.90 Rand per ticket, working out to between about 100% and 275% more expensive. However, the more common prices in 2015 were 53 Rand and 66 Rand at Ster-Kinekor's Junction and Classic Theatres, respectively. All the cinemas that remain from those sub-chains now charge 129.90 Rand per ticket, which is between 97% and 145% more expensive than a decade ago. This is more than the monthly subscription of a Showmax Entertainment, Netflix Basic, Amazon Prime Video, or Apple TV Plus subscription. The more premium Blue Route and Cape Gate cinemas charge 149.90 Rand per ticket, up from 162 Rand in 2015. The table below summarizes how prices for tickets at Ster-Kinekor cinemas changed between 2015 and 2025. So yeah, the table down below indicates, the the differences in ticket pricing since from 2015 to now 2025. Yeah, so I'm just gonna roll it up slowly so that for those who are watching, you can take a look at the difference, the vast differences between the prices between, I mean, from 10 years ago to date. Yeah. So I'll also leave the article in the description below so that you can read it yourself. Let me just read a little bit more and then we can delve into the discussion of this article. So pricing changes at South Africa's second largest cinema chain, New Metro, have not been any better, apart from the adjustments on its most expensive screenings. New Metro's cheapest prices are its price freeze 2D, 3D tickets at only cinemas, which cost 50 Rand each. It also offers discounts for pensioners and tickets at all its cinemas, with tickets available for 100 Rand on both 2D and 3D movies at most screenings. However, its regular 2D, 3D ticket prices are 135 Rand, up from between 155 Rand and 170, sorry, between 55 Rand and 70 Rand in 2015. That works out to effective increases between 93% and 145%. Tickets for its extreme screenings have increased by more than 100%, going from 99 Rand to 200 Rand. Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot. So VIP 3D tickets have increased by the lowest percentage of 67%. Even so, the increase is slightly above the rate of inflation over the past few years. The table compares new metro cinema ticket prices in 2025 with those from 10 years ago. Yeah, so it is indeed quite a high, ticket price rise. But just as I said, I mean, in the article, just as is detailed in the article, you can realize that these ticket prices is not necessarily because the chains of cinemas wanted to increase the ticket pricing. And I think this is not just a South African problem. Perhaps it's a problem in all or most cinemas in Africa. You know, with the pandemic came, uh, if I'm to put it this way, the training of moviegoers to these cinemas to learn to sit at home and watch movies on the streaming platforms. And people, in as much as the pandemic is a little bit ways in, our back view mirror, the comfort now people have in watching films at home on their big screen television or even on their small screen, some even on their phones, has become a habit now people are used to. Back in the days, watching films at the cinemas were more of an event than just going to a place to watch a film. But now, with the alternative of streaming services offering quality movies, competing with those on screen at the cinemas, that has become quite a challenge. And if you read down further, and even in several other articles and analysis that have been done all over the world, you realize that um, most often ticket pricing for the streaming services is far low compared to tickets. I mean, sorry, pricing for streaming services compared to ticket pricing, it's far low. Looking at the value you are going to receive from the streaming platform, because the same amount of perhaps pricing could get you more movies on a streaming platform compared to just one ticket for the cinema. That is why other cinema chains have come up with their own package where, with a particular ticket pricing, you could get the opportunity to watch more than one movie. Some you could watch up to 10 movies in a month with the same ticket subscription. So yes, other cinemas in the US in particular are practicing that. I think the AMC and the other chains of cinemas in the US. But in Africa, the challenge is more direct, especially looking at the fact that the inflation or the exchange rate between currencies is not really boding well for businesses like cinemas in Africa. And the economic hardships also, in addition, doesn't make going to the cinema an everyday lifestyle thing that, you know, perhaps even a middle income individual can adapt. But looking at the challenge they are facing, the streaming services seems to have worsened the situation in the circumstance that people would rather prefer to be entertained by films and TV shows on these streaming platforms compared to just a ticket pricing for just one movie. So it has become a challenge for the cinemas. And even looking at the fact that most movies that these films or these cinemas show on their screens are not necessarily the preference of the indigenes in South Africa. And in that case, it goes a long way to hurt the cinemas, because it means that until a big blockbuster from Hollywood comes in, it means that all the movies they will be showing between such periods where there are fallow periods for Hollywood films, they will be running at a loss. So you realize that they've adapted strategies of showing even sports and events in their cinemas just to make up for the losses, and that is quite a challenge. So it means that there is a huge gap where there's a huge gap that ought to be filled by other films that perhaps ought to be of such top-notch quality as the Hollywood films, or maybe compelling in its advertisement in getting people to the cinemas to watch these films. So it is really a challenge, and perhaps it's even a call to African filmmakers to amp their game in order to be able to help fill the cinemas in South Africa and I believe across Africa as a whole. I think that the challenge with South Africa here can be used as a case study for perhaps all other cinemas across Africa. I'm sure the challenges are not too different because, just as we are saying, most currencies in Africa is weak compared to the dollar. So in that case, for Hollywood films to come in, or for even most of the rights to these films to be bought by these cinema chains, it will have to be bought in dollars. And in that case, it definitely affects their cost of operations just to make up for profits and all others. So it is quite a challenge, not just for South Africa, but as we can see, the streaming services have raised the challenge even further. So it's not just a matter of the exchange rate of buying, you know, the rights to films to show in the cinemas, but also the competition being, being given by these streamers are causing escalating challenges for all cinemas, in South Africa, as you can see. And that surge in prices, you can't blame the cinemas for doing that because at the end of the day, they also have to make sure that they stay solvent in order not to go bankrupt. And it's really a challenge, especially considering what we are facing in Africa. So, could there, if there was a way where the Bollywood films and the Nollywood films and other films that they show in their cinemas are making good money for them and not just waiting for Hollywood films to fill in the gap, then perhaps they would be able to reduce their ticket pricing from that 275% down further to maybe 50% or even less. But unfortunately, it looks like when there are no major Hollywood big blockbuster films, these cinemas are not really making enough money. And also, when you read the article down further, it explains that there are times that they would have to shift the screening times just to accommodate for sporting events and other activities that may otherwise engage the same cinema goers to watch those ones first so that they can have the time to come to the cinemas to watch these films that they have in store for South Africans. So it is quite a challenge, and the film industry doesn't just constitute of filmmakers; it also constitutes of the cinema chains. So if the cinema chains are not doing well, it goes a long way to even hurt the filmmakers who are producing these films. Because when you are done shooting your film, you definitely need a place to exhibit them, and there's no better place to exhibit them than in the cinemas. Even with some of the streamers, research have pointed to the fact that when movies are streamed or when movies are exhibited in the cinemas, they do far well on the streaming services as a result of that. So you realize that even though the streaming services are a competition to the cinemas, they still can't do away with the cinemas if they actually understand that the business model of showing a film in the cinema first before putting it on the streaming platform actually helps them. So it is indeed a challenge if these cinemas are facing these troubles, and we are hoping that perhaps there will be a new wave of perhaps liking for our own content as Africans and perhaps other continents. Not to say we love the Hollywood films, but during that period where these big blockbusters are yet to infiltrate the market of South Africa, there should be equally good content from Africa, not just from the South Africans, but from Africa and other places in the world to help, bridge the gap and keep these cinemas solvent because we need them to stay solvent. And my hope is that soon enough, this thing will change all across Africa for cinemas to be working and possibly, even possibly, have more cinemas built because aren't enough cinemas in Africa. I must admit, there aren't enough cinemas in Africa. So, in order to help build a very, formidable film market in Africa, we need to have cinemas that are making good profits so that the ticket pricing can come way down low, well enough for them to be successful and for more people to go to the cinemas to keep them profitable and solvent. So yeah, it is indeed bad news for people in South Africa, and I would even say all across Africa. And it is our hope that soon enough these things will change, and for the film industry in Africa to go stronger and mightier than ever before. So this is my first story of the day for this episode. And for all those who have ever watched Asian films, particularly from this part of the world, from Ghana, way back in the 90s and 80s, every Asian film was a Chinese film. And, it got to a point where the name Jackie Chan is almost synonymous to a Chinese film. You know, even though he comes from Hong Kong, not mainland China. When you talk about Jackie Chan, what comes to mind is a Chinese film. And it's exciting to know that Jackie Chan is going to be honored at the Locarno Film Festival, and that is a lifetime honor. And listen, for those who are ardent, film fans, especially of Asian films, you know that the contribution of Jackie Chan to the film industry at large is massive, particularly with regards to stunt work. And he perhaps, and there has been the Buster Keaton, and in today's world we know the Tom Cruises. But before even Tom Cruise became a household name for always doing his stunts, Jackie Chan began it first. Jackie Chan, he's been in the industry for over 50 years. And in every film that he had to perform action sequences, he does it on his own. And, enough with my ranting about Jackie Chan. It shows how excited I am about his films. I'd like us to read this article briefly and take a look at some of his filmography and why he's so deserving of this award. So, in the Hollywood Reporter, Jackie Chan is to receive Locarno Film Festival Lifetime Honor. Star, director, producer, writer, choreographer, singer, athlete, daredevil stuntman. He is a key figure in contemporary Asian cinema whose influence has rewritten the rules of Hollywood. That is how influential this man is, and multifaceted. He's not just an actor, he does it all. So there's an article published in the Hollywood Reporter by George. Well, I can't pronounce the last name. So it was published on April 28th at 11 p.m. And there in your shot is Jackie Chan himself. Yeah. So Hong Kong and global film icon Jackie Chan will attend the 78th edition of the Locarno Film Festival in Switzerland this summer to receive the prestigious Pardo alla Carriera or Carriera Leopard Award organizers unveiled on Tuesday. The festival will bestow the honor upon Chan on the evening of Saturday, August 9th, with the actor also set to introduce his films Project A 1983 and Police Story 1985, on both of which he worked as a star and director as part of the tribute to his career. So audiences the festival audience will also have an opportunity to see and hear Chan on Sunday, August 10th, during a public conversation event. Jonah A. Nazaro, artistic director of the Locarno Film Festival, highlighted. Director producer, actor, screenwriter, choreographer, singer, athlete, and daredevil stuntman, Jackie Chan is both a key figure in contemporary Asian cinema and one whose influence has rewritten the rules of Hollywood cinema. From his years at the China Drama Academy under Master Yu Jim Yuen, working at a very young age as a stuntman in Ken Hu's masterpiece as A Touch of Zen, Chan has continually reinvented martial arts cinema and much beyond it. Continued Nazaro, a pure comic talent, he has absorbed the lessons of Buster Keaton and early cinema as his own, creating masterpieces that have captivated audiences around the world. With a sensibility worthy of the classic musical, he shaped an unprecedented poetics of the human body in motion. His conclusion: in cinema, there is a before Jackie Chan and after Jackie Chan. Locarno called Chan an Asian megastar, master filmmaker, and Hollywood mainstay beloved for action films that bridge the gap between East and West, adding that he has for almost 60 years been one of the world's most recognizable faces. After beginning as a child actor in the 1960s, Chan found success in 1978 with Snake in the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master. Over the next decade, his blend of kung fu comedy was a reliable box office draw for Golden Harvest, the legendary Hong Kong studio, with his audacious stunts and easygoing charisma, drawing legions of adoring fans to cinemas. Locarno said. By the 1990s, Chan was Asia's highest-grossing action star, and a career in Hollywood followed. The buddy comedy Rush Hour 1998 would cement Chan's place as a global superstar unlike any before him, said Locarno. Chan has also worked behind the camera as the director of the likes of Police Story and Armor of God. The Pardo a la Carrera is handed out with the support of Ascona Locarno Tourism, the destination partner of the Locarno Festival. Previous honorees include Francesco Rossi, Bruno Ganz, Claudia Cardinale, Cardinal, and sorry, I'm butchering the name, Johnny To, Harry Belafonte, Mario Adolf, Jane Becken, Costa Gavras, Chai Min Lian, and last year Bollywood icon Shahrukh Khan. The 78th Locarno Film Festival runs August 6th to 16th. Yeah, so that is how exciting it is for Jackie Chan receiving this honor. And listen, Jackie Chan is so prolific in his works that he's done over 150 films. 150 films. And some of these films, its production timeline could span over 3 months, And it means that he spent most of his lives on film sets than on his own as an individual. And that is really interesting. And for those who have followed most of his films, mostly he does the stunts. I mean, all the time, not mostly. He does his stunts action himself. And in every stunts that he does, the things he does are very risky, are very, very risky. And more likely than not, he ends up getting hurt. It is even said that there's no bone in his body that has not been broken before as a result of playing a stuntman in all his films. And regardless of how bad he's been hurt or even life threatening, he has never been dissuaded from performing his own life stunts all the time. All the time. And even now, with regards to a stunt man category, a stunt design category, which is going to be instituted in the Oscars come 2027, it's very possible that he may even be honored with a lifetime award for the stunts he's done over the years. And he has sort of redefined how stunts are being done on screen. He sort of redefined it, and it's such an exciting honor to have him to be, you know, given this lifetime award for his career. I just want us to go briefly through some of the things that he has done so far. You know, when it comes to Jackie Chan, most often than not, we think of him being an actor, but he's done literally everything. I didn't even know he was a musician. Pardon my ignorance. I didn't even know he was a musician, and he's released several albums. And most of the films that he does, his songs are used as soundtracks in his films. But beyond that, he's done several things. He's a writer, he's a director, he's a choreographer, a musician. As a matter of fact, he's also an operatic singer. That is how far his talent expands to. An operatic singer and is amazing. And definitely, he's a martial artist. So he's an industry. He's an empire, if I should say. Yeah. So these are some of his films. Starting way back from 1962. 1962. I can't read through all, but I just want you to take a look at some of the films that he has done. And for a number of the films, for this particular filmography of his, this some of his acting things, gigs that he has done. And most often, if I'm not mistaken, in every film that he has directed, he has also starred in it. So you can imagine how lengthy these films are. And I've watched a number of his films, not all his films, and even with this on, I think I will need to take time to watch most of his films if I can find them at the right places to watch as well. So yeah, he's done quite a roster of films, both from the East and now in the West as well. Yeah, but I remember watching films like Drunken Master, Armor of God, Rush Hour, and it's so exciting, very, very exciting. And yeah, so and some of his films he was producer on them. But let me just quickly go. So it's quite a lengthy film. A lengthy roster, and I'm going to leave all this in the description below so you can take a look at it. You know, for to spend over half a century making films is not an easy journey that he's embarked on. And Jackie Chan is an icon worth celebrating. Whenever his name is mentioned, you realize that no, this man is deserving of any accolade you can throw his way. And most of his films are really, almost all his films are really good. If you watch the films from way back to now, it's so exciting. Most martial artists, especially when they are featured in films, they take the serious route of being very stoic and just out to get the villain. But he came up with a style where, in as much as he wants to avenge whatever wrong done him by whether a villain has killed any of his loved ones, he always does it with some dexterity of comedy that leaves people laughing. Yeah, we enjoy the fights all the same, but at the same time, we enjoy the drama around it. And I think one of his peaks performance with regards to fighting and also performing comedy is Drunken Master. Drunken Master. And Drunken Master was such an epic movie in the way he performed, and it's exciting. And all his films following has gone in that pattern as well. Rush Hour is one clear example where it became a phenomenal hit. Himself and Chris Tucker, you know, playing the buddy cop comedy was so exciting. And it is said that soon enough there's going to be the Rush Hour 4. It's been in the off this in the production, in the pre-production development stage for quite a long time. And at a point in time we don't even know whether it's going to come on or not. But and in his filmography it looks like it is possibly going to come on, because I mean Wikipedia may not be the exact website to say it's uh, an exact place where you can confirm for sure whether it's coming on or not. But perhaps this is a clear sign that it may possibly come on. perhaps even on IMDb, I'm sure it is still there because the discussion of Rush Hour 4 started years ago, and Chris Tucker is on board to return as well. So, yeah, we are all looking forward to his new films. New Police Story 2. Yeah, which is a sequel of his a police story that he had way back. So, yes, it's exciting to hear that a film festival is taking the opportunity to honor Jackie Chan, and I would say he is indeed deserving of it. He's indeed deserving of it. So, it's exciting. A man that is multi-talented of this nature, and you know him being able to redefine how stunt work is done on screen. It's exciting, and I'm happy that he's going to be honored for this festival in Europe. And when you check his list of awards, it's numerous. He might not have won an Oscar before, but listen, I'm sure he's won an honorary award, but this man has done it all. When it comes to the film industry, he's done drama, he's done it all. He's done it all. And Jackie Chan indeed is an icon, and deservedly so. He deserves this award. He deserves this award. So I'm so excited about about this award, and the fact that when you do a good job on screen, your talent will indeed be honored. And it's exciting that Jackie Chan is being honored, and it's really an honor to have watched most of his films and you know been entertained by him. So yeah, Jackie Chan is an all-time favorite, and we are I'm excited, particularly excited about his films, especially Russia for 4. If it's to drop today, I'll be in the theater watching it. Yeah, so this sums up my, the two stories for today for this very episode. And thank you for joining me for this particular episode. And I'll be coming your way with more episode in this week, even on Saturday, since I missed yesterday as well due to you know situation beyond my control. But I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I'm excited that you have never left my side concerning this initiative of the film mandate. I am Papa O2, and I'll see you tomorrow.